Hi, hello. Long time no see. Apologies for being absent on my YouTube channel. I've been very busy with my life. A lot of good things happened, and I might share with you today what exactly happened. But yeah, apologies first of all for not sharing anything on this YouTube for the last couple of months. I also missed the opportunity, the right timing to share my wrap up of the 2024. It's been a while since I actually made the wrap up of the month. I think maybe like a couple of years ago. And then the last year I did only like a wrap up of 2023. And I decided that this year I might do that as well, but I missed the, let's say, right timing at the end of December or the beginning of January. So in the middle of February, I decided actually to finally do that. So yeah, throughout the last year, throughout the year of 2024, I've read a couple of great books, and I think this is the chance for me to talk about them. But also, I want to do that in parallel with this little thing. So my best friend Nick presented me this bookshelf decoration. I don't know how else it's called. Book Nook and Wonderland, I guess, but I think it's the name of the brand. Anyways, so he gave it to me as a gift for Christmas, and I haven't opened it yet. I was waiting for this moment when I have time to sit with you, to chat about books, and to finally make this decoration. I also don't know what kind of instruments I need. I just brought a knife so I can open the box. But apart from that, we'll see. We'll see what we need. Let me just quickly open it. Wow, that is actually cool to open the Christmas gifts later in the year. So you have like the whole year of wonderful gifts. I don't know if you know, but I think I've seen it on some social media, the advertisement of these things, but I never actually was convinced to buy it. But it's a nice thing to get it as a gift. So yes, and as far as I understand, this is like do-it-yourself project, which it clearly states here, do-it-yourself. But yeah, let's see how capable I am to do something like that. The package is really nice. Oh, these are all the elements that are inside of the box. Whoa. Look, I'm not afraid of it, let's say. I assembled kitchen from IKEA. Not like by myself with the help, of course, but still. Oh yeah, look at this. These are all like small details, the content of the box. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, these are the instruments. That's good. Oh, that is so sweet. These are like little boots and little plants and the shovel. That's nice. Whoa, it's like a dollhouse, you know? And of course I love a little dollhouse. I never had a dollhouse, but I think it's now late. So yeah, I told you already in one of the last videos that I actually got a new job position. One of you kindly asked me what I did in my previous position. So today is actually the great time to share this information about me, because today in the morning I gave the presentation about the project that I've been working for the last couple of months at my previous job. And this was actually the 3D project. I made a photogrammetric model of the mikveh. So mikveh is a ritual bath, Jewish ritual bath that can be found in like many medieval Jewish communities throughout the Europe, but also, of course, there are many contemporary mikvehs. But of course, ones that are found in Europe now considered a heritage, and they are excavated. Some of them are very well preserved. And the one that was revealed after the Second World War in Cologne dates like Middle Ages. Again, I'm not a historian, so if you want to actually like get more information about it, maybe it's worth to visit Google or maybe Cologne and when the museum is open. So basically I was working for the archaeological project that prepares all the, let's say, objects for the future museum that will be built on the site, on the excavation. My work at the archaeological project was primarily digitalization. I made photos of the objects. I also, as you can see, I was working with the 3D projects. I made some of the scans of the smaller objects, and that resulted in the interest from the scientists from Israel who decided that it's a good idea actually to make a scan of the whole ritual bath in 3D. I managed to finish this 3D scanning job before actually leaving the position, and I'm really excited that I've done it, or I've done as much as I could, and then I passed the whole 3D data to my colleagues in Israel, and they then created the whole 3D model and put it in the virtual reality. And actually today, after the conference, we had an opportunity to experience this virtual reality tour. So that was really exciting, and I hope they will do something about it. I hope they will use this information maybe in the future museum, or maybe I know the Open University in Israel, they actually use this data for their students. They show them the mikveh, they show them how it is built, what's the architectural features, and etc. So it's really exciting, and I'm really happy that I got the chance to do that. Throughout the years that I spent with the archaeological project, about 6 years I worked there, I managed to actually do all sorts of jobs and primarily, of course, digitalization, but also, for example, I was helping the department of, like, I don't know how to say it in English. I think it can be translated as the processing of findings. So whatever we find, we would need to clean if necessary. We would need to inscribe with the number. We need to photograph it and put it in the correct package so it can be stored properly. So this is what we did, and this is where I helped a lot. And now I'm actually working in the museum. I don't know if I can say that, but it's a museum of East Asian arts, and I'm really excited about it. It's really such a great opportunity, and it was the dream of mine to work in the museum, as you might assume from the title of my channel. And yes, I'm really happy. With the new position came more responsibilities and, let's say, more work. I'm really quite busy today to just, get involved into the processes and get to know the team and plan for the future, for the nearest future. So it takes some time. Of course, it's quite unfortunate that I don't have much time now for books, for example. I have these 2 big projects, reading projects that I began last year and that I can't actually finish, and it bothers me a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of calm myself down and I say, no, it's fine, it's all right. Of course, nobody forces me to do all these reading projects, but I've been thinking that it would be just good, it would be just great to finish them. So yeah, wait, these elements we don't need yet. These are the A's, right? No, these are the B's. Oh yeah, this is the A. Okay, cool. So we need A1. A1 is here. Okay, I found it. Oh, it's not that difficult. I can even chat with you in parallel with the work. That's exciting, you see? They're all signed, and they also have a letter and a number, so it's easy to find. It's like a puzzle, but in 3D. Wow, I like it. Yeah, another big news that I have is actually, I was not sure if I want to share it, but then I thought people will notice anyways, and eventually I will not be able to hide it from the public, let's say. And I shared it with my close friends already and my relatives. But yeah, I am pregnant and I am expecting a baby girl very, very soon, hopefully in the beginning of June. So that, of course, also occupied me with, with this doctor visits, with the preparation. We've done some of the preparation. We kind of like got rid of the unnecessary furniture. We are thinking like how to refurbish our home again, so our baby will be like more comfortable in it. This is really exciting. So far, I didn't have any problems. I don't know, maybe I'm just a lucky one, or maybe this is how it feels. But I had like occasional like back pain or something like that, but nothing like very crucial. I also didn't have like nausea or anything. I think in this I am quite lucky because I heard that it is very, unpleasant experience, but not for me. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But you may assume that now I'm reading a lot of like stuff about pregnancy and babies, so I'm not gonna actually put it on my reading list or to make a wrap up about those books. But actually, if you are interested in this subject, let me know in the comments. Maybe I actually will share my books that I'm reading right now for preparation to a baby. So yeah, let me know. I'm really curious what you might think about it. But I think these are just books, they're quite technical, let's say. There are good books and bad books in any field about any subject, and I actually acquired a lot of them. I have some collection of books on fostering children and about human behavior, let's say, and also like general information, practical information on how to care about babies and stuff. So yeah, I'm really excited. It actually opens up to me the whole world of like babies and motherhood. Like I only seen motherhood from, let's say, philosophical perspective all the time, and I found this subject very interesting. Like not just the practical stuff and physical stuff, but also like the experience that women go through when they become mothers. Okay, now let's finally talk about books, because there are a couple of things that I've read and I want to share with you. So last year I read 34 books according to my StoryGraph. There are primarily books that I can't talk about yet because, as I told you, I have 2 big projects that I wanted to prepare for you, like special videos. One of the projects, actually, you already probably know. Maybe I mentioned that in one of the videos. It's actually reading all the books by Nabokov. So I've read a substantial amount of his books in preparation for my Lalita video, which you can find links everywhere on my YouTube channel. I'm really proud of that video, but unfortunately it didn't become popular as, for example, my Master and Margarita video. I actually don't know why, maybe because of the algorithm, but I'm really proud of that video. I do believe I've done a good job. I know it's a faux pas to compliment oneself, but yeah, I'm really glad that I did that. I dug deep into one particular artwork, particular literary work, and I really enjoy that. So yeah, and I'm really happy that I did that video. It's been a very productive reading year in terms of Nabokov. I've read like really maybe 10 of his books or something like that. And I really like him. I can definitely say that this is one of my favorite writers nowadays. And it's not only because of Lolita, but actually because of other works. I don't think the Lolita is my favorite. That's the thing. Lolita is certainly like a special one because I prepared the whole video and made research about it. But I think there were other works that, let's say, were dear to my heart. And I think I can recommend maybe, I think The Gift is probably yet another masterpiece, and I really appreciate that one. But it is more difficult, let's say, to understand in comparison to Lolita. I do believe that The Gift to Vladimir Nabokov is similar as to Ulysses for James Joyce. It's like the work of the artist. But I don't know if I can recommend it, actually. because this is a bit more difficult, and there were a couple of moments when I had to stop and make a detour, read another books in order to get a better understanding of the gift. So for example, there was a whole chapter on the life of Chernyshevsky, which was a prominent socialist writer in the 19th century, the end of the 19th century, and his novel, I think in English it's called What's to Be Done. Actually, we studied it in the school, but of course I never listened to my teachers. And then I reread it as an adult while reading The Gift, and I thought, wow, that is such a cool thing. It is indeed one of the first socialist novels, and it was actually surprisingly good, but not like because he was a good stylist or because he wrote very well. No, actually his style was very simple. I don't know, very boring, but the matters that he describes, the plot that is happening in the book, it's very interesting, and it shows the socialistic approach in literature. It explores the subjects that were not common at that time, such as, well, at that time it was called like women question, and this is what we would call right nowadays feminism. It was, of course, to a certain degree explored in, for example, Anna Karenina or Madame Bovary, but I think in What's to Be Done, it's actually like a new perspective of a very positive feminism, so to say, or like the way the characters break the patriarchal rules, which is, I don't know, I found absolutely amazing. And then I went back to The Gift, and I had better understanding of why Nabokov writes Chernyshevsky biography this way. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed those two books, and I'm really happy that I got a chance to read What's to Be Done in my adulthood. And although like I studied in school when Soviet Union did not exist anymore, it was like modern Russia, but maybe it was like a legacy of the Soviet Union school where What's to Be Done probably, and I can imagine it was like a mandatory read for kids, for teenagers. So these are the two books, probably the best books that I've read in Russian language last year. Another classic that I really enjoyed last year was Franny and Zoe by Salinger. Boy, that's such a cool book. I'm happy that I read it, and well, although it's like really short and small, it is so dense. It is so full of ideas. I'm really happy that I did that. I'm not gonna dive deep into this book because it's actually part of the project that I'm always mentioning, but never reveal what that is. So yeah, if you never read Franny and Zoe, this is your sign. This is a recommendation from my side. It's a great book to think about the philosophical and moral questions. I think it's also a great book to show the stylistic abilities of the writer. I think it's a well-written book, but for me personally, of course, I can assess the English language as native speakers, but for me personally, those moral and philosophical investigations were much more important and much more interesting. Another little achievement last year is actually the first book that I read in Korean, but please don't laugh. Like, I studied Korean by myself with a tutor and with a group for 3 years already, and it is a very difficult language for me after like Russian and English and German to dive into completely like different grammatical system and alphabet. It's tough. The only thing that helps is that I understand the culture because of my heritage, but like still, it's difficult. So yeah, a couple of years ago when I went to Korea, I actually got myself this little children's book about the dog that can read. And so I asked my tutor to read this book together, and he kindly agreed. So what he did, like I scanned the book, he made me read all the content of the book, and then he would help me with translation and with the vocabulary. So yeah, that was really exciting. I know it sounds silly and funny, and probably some people think that I'm like an educated person who's reading kids' books to learn language, but I think, when you learn language, it's a difficult task in any case, with any language. And if you do whatever brings you joy, you should do it. Only then you can actually like learn something. Like for example, some people enjoy learning Korean by listening to K-pop music. Then they should do it. Then they should go for it. I don't like K-pop, so I stick to the books. I found whatever I can, and and I stick to it. So from that perspective, I'm really happy that I did that. I don't know when I can read another book in Korean, because of course I don't have like a lot of access to Korean children books. But maybe someday, or maybe I'll find like an online store that has them. We'll see about that. I think I'm doing like a staircase. It looks like a staircase, as a matter of fact. Wait, let me show you. It's something like that. I think it is a staircase, is it? Yes, there is a little staircase. Another significant read for me last year was 100 Years of Solitude again. So it was a reread. I read a couple of years ago 100 Years of Solitude in Russian, but this time I decided to read it in English. Again, it was a pleasure. It's one of my favorite books. It is a great piece of art, and I enjoyed it as much, and even more, I think, because when you read it the second time, you kind of start finding these little things that you didn't notice before, because again, the book is very dense. There are a lot of things happening, and when you read it for the first time, you might, miss something. But this time, apart from like being very attentive, I also like read or watched some of the materials on Colombian history. So I think that helped a lot as well to understand the historical context. And it's like Master and Margarita. Like if you don't have a historical context, I mean, you might enjoy the novel, but if you do have, I think it gives you like even more perspective on the book and on the works of the artist, of the writer. So I really enjoy that too. And again, I read this book a second time because of the English club that I have, and I'm really happy that we did that we did it all together, and all of us enjoy the discussion and all of us enjoy the books, so it was just a pleasure. In general, the books that we read last year in the book club were very interesting. So we began the year with The Girl, Woman, Other, which is the contemporary literary work. I really enjoyed that too, and I think the discussion was also brilliant. So that was very fun. We also read Little Fires Everywhere, but I can't say I'm a big fan. It is a nice little book, but I think I didn't like enjoy it as much as people do. But yeah, again, it was a pleasant read. Another book that we read together was Wuthering Heights. I'm so happy that I finally read that book. It was also kind of an achievement for me. I was planning to read it, and finally we did. And the woman who led the conversation. So each month we have one book, and the curator of the book who would, raise the questions and make us think of different things. So the participant who was the curator for this book, she's a big fan of this book, and I think that also helped us to understand it better and to appreciate it more. And of course, we had also like a lot of brilliant questions and discussions during that book club meeting. So if you never read Wuthering Heights, I think this is also like a sign for you to add it to your TBR. It is a great book. I mean, of course, it's classic. I kind of like come to the realization that although I haven't read many books last year, I've read like a couple of very difficult books. Let's say like 100 Years of Solitude. I mean, it's easy to read, but it's a big one. Or Wuthering Heights is also like a lengthy book that explores kind of disturbing and difficult subjects. So I'm really proud of that reading year. I think I stopped blaming myself for not reading a lot. I don't feel guilt anymore. So yeah. Also, my nonfiction November that I always participate in was very productive. Unfortunately, not as productive as I expected. I still haven't finished The Cobalt Red and the biography of Dostoevsky. These two are still on my TBR list. Again, that was like just too ambitious for me to actually add them to the list, but yeah, I don't regret that. I still have the books, I'm glad I have them, and I will eventually read it. This is what actually makes me think about like my pregnancy, especially the last month and a half, when by law I will be staying at home. Like I'm not going to work for the last like several weeks of my pregnancy. And I was thinking like, usually what are you gonna do when you're like sitting at home and doing nothing? You can read books. So I'm really waiting for that time to arrive before the baby comes, and after I finish at work, after I'm done with the work, let's say, I really want to spend this time more with books, and I hope it will work out. Well, I'm glad that actually it doesn't need a lot of glue for a moment. There is actually glue, so I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. But to assemble the models, I don't need to glue. It's basically like Lego. I like it. Okay, now, cool. So I've got this little house structure. So we have the flooring and little stairs. I like it. Now we need to assemble the door. That is cool. Where is it? Now, another thing we can discuss is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I found the book Normal People on the website that I told you many times about. It's like an exchange here of books here in Germany. Like whenever you don't need a book, you can like post it on the website, and people can get it for a small amount of money, basically, just to cover the post. So I got the Normal People book, and it is an interesting one. So I didn't enjoy the plot. I didn't enjoy the characters. But I understand why people love it. It is well written. It's really easy to follow. It engages you instantly, and it actually works better as a book. Tried with my husband to watch the TV show. I think there's like a TV series based on this book, right? And after one episode, I was like, no, I'm not interested, and I dropped it. But then when I picked the book, this is where I was able to finish the thing. I understand why it is very popular, let's say. If I were 17 right now, I might have appreciated more. But being a, 30 years old woman, it doesn't bother me. I don't know. Just not my cup of tea anymore. During the book club last year, we also encountered the work of Claire Keegan. We read Foster together, but also independently from the book club, I've read Small Things Like That, Small Things Like This, and it was truly one of the best books that I've read that year, especially actually the Small Things Like This. I enjoyed more than Foster, but we had a great discussion about Foster, and I think she's a great artist. I think she deserves the attention she gets, and I'm really excited about other of her works. I actually don't know what else she's got, and maybe she's publishing right now something new. Let me know if you know. But yes, it's a good one. Another cool book that I read last year is called Monsters. What Do We Do with Great Art by Bad People? This is a great book. I think it can raise also very interesting discussions. So maybe if you're looking for something for a book club or something like that, I would recommend you to pick that up. There are a lot of like subjects around art, and not just visual art, but also like music and literature and stuff. So I would definitely recommend that one. Really enjoyed that. I also wanted to give you an update of what I'm reading right now. It's actually several books simultaneously. I started to read White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Unfortunately, I didn't finish that yet because I was interrupted by another book that I've been reading for my book club. We're reading currently 2 books, Just Kids, that I actually read last year by Patti Smith. And another book that we're reading in March is called The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. Sorry if I pronounce the names incorrectly. And also I received the gift from one of my girlfriends from Russia. It is a book, let me show you. It is a book that looks like that. As you can see, there's something in Korean, but it's actually, it says not only kimchi, but the book is written in Russian because it is by the Russian scholar. So he wrote the collection of essays from various times about like history, culture, and everyday life of Korea. And so far I can say that I've read a couple of essays already, and I can say that on the historical part I have no authority to criticize him. Well, I just take everything for granted, especially if we talk about like, I don't know, Middle Age history. But in terms of like current situation and everyday life, there are some things that I disagreed with, so I'm a bit skeptical still. But it's always interesting to see what white people in Russia write about Korean culture. Anyways, I think I'll take a break. I think I'll go get myself a dinner, and I will continue working on it, and I will try to publish the final results. Hopefully today. I don't know if I can finish. There's actually a lot of work, and I'm actually surprised how much work it is. So yeah, anyways, I'm off, and I'll see you in a minute. Ta-da! So here's the final result. It stands proudly here. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave it here because this section is actually not in any way systemized, so I thought that maybe, yeah, I'll do that later. Anyways, I'm really happy about it. Unfortunately, there should be also like a little lighting. There are 2 lamps, let's say, but I couldn't manage to make them work. So there's like a very complicated system of like cables that you should connect with each other, and I don't know, maybe I just did something wrong. So it worked in the very beginning, but then the battery maybe died. I put another one, but it didn't work. And indeed, I managed to finish it in one evening, in one sitting. Unfortunately, I didn't film the complete work when I finished it because it was too dark already. It was like in the middle of the night. But yeah, it is manageable. It is possible to do it in one day. And before you go, I also wanted to mention one book that I read during the nonfiction November and that you've seen on my TBR, and this is also the book that I've read in Russian, and this is the book by Svetlana Alexievich, The Unwomanly Face of War, I think it's called in English. I'll put the cover somewhere here so you can also find it. I have to admit it was a bit tough to read. I also had an audiobook in parallel with the book. Sometimes I only listened to audiobook when I was in the car, for example, or at work. And yeah, it is a tough one. Like some of the moments, some of the memories about the war were quite shocking, let's say. Of course, I never knew what it is to be in the war, but judging from the experience these women had, I hope I'll never get a chance to go to war. To draw a line, I think this is a great book. It is one of the best reads of the previous year, and I can easily recommend it to anybody. So yeah, that's it for my life update video, for my wrap-up, a small wrap-up of the previous year reads. And I'm looking forward to the books that I will encounter this year. I'm sure it's not going to be like a long list, but I'll do my best with the newborn and with all my, let's say, hectic life to squeeze some reading in it and give you updates on what I'm reading and when. If everything goes very well, I might also publish a couple of videos that I promised you to publish, and I hope we will meet there and we'll discuss them in the comment section as usual. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope I'll see you in the next one very, very soon. Bye.